I wanted to or needed to start another um, because after my earlier post, then I have to, in my happiness, I have to bring myself and my feet back on the ground to be able to attend to the more serious, because as I explained in my previous installment, that and anytime there's always a battle of good and evil going on, always, and I have to, when I'm feeling happy about Jesus conducting my life, and coming into my life, I have to remember to keep my feet on the ground, because it is uh, um, an ongoing battle that I have to keep my feet on the ground, and my attentions in the right place. So I kind of I don't allow, but a lot of times what's going on in my thought processes sort of seems to generate what appears on my computer, either as an opposing or as I don't like to use the word angle, because my angle is always with my own personal intentions and interpretations. But the the uh, the race for or monetary finances, and I've stated out loud several times now and in public that I claim every profit, PROFIT, to my Lord and Savior Jesus, 90%. Um, and every land and or space value to my Lord and Savior Jesus, 90%. Um, and then somebody will find a way to purposefully interpret what I said there. Again, I'm not talking about blood spill. Um, so the price of gold has come up on my screen this morning in the market, and even in that, there's constant subliminal that you have to constantly be aware of as you possibly can, and it's almost impossible. Um, Unless you're pre-programmed to and so to bring those systems to forethought as much as I possibly can is all I can anyway. The price of gold is up at 19 or 1900 over $1,900 an ounce, and 1936 and 13 cents. And there's all kinds of subliminal go fetch sort of messages as I'm looking at this chart, and coincides with my day yesterday and the dynamics of the room that I was in yesterday, and people who are re-entering my life for like the third or fourth time. Um, since I first met them, assuming that the first time I met Buttons was at Read Only Memory Bro establishment on the corner of North and Howard in Baltimore in 1983, I think it was. And pink and green. So the price of gold, and I keep asking the question, what is the functional? I'm not big on wearing a lot of jewelry. A lot of cultures traditionally wear jewelry for whatever purpose that they have. I personally, I don't wear a lot of jewelry, and I have not ever worn a lot of jewelry. There is a specific piece of jewelry that might that I am asking for. First of all, interpretation of the amulet. And that's one of the things I would like to do for fun, although something that starts out for fun really turns into something serious, because there's a battle behind everything. I don't care what you're attempting to accomplish. Unfortunately, in a child's life, games are, just, and of course, the reality of that is always coming to surface. And but this amulet I would like interpretation of, and it's the headpiece, and I call it a headpiece because I don't know the official name for the piece of jewelry. It's not really a crown. It's a strand of small pearls, several strands of small pearls, which are attached in a way that almost like emulating like cornrows, almost. But there's only I want to say one, two, and one across, three strands. So I would like to get interpretation of where the design came from, and the interpretation of the amulet in the second, which might be pure gold. I don't know. But it's a piece of jewelry that was in my great grandmother's jewelry collection. And I'm not big on claiming jewelry when my grandparents, even though now there's an inheritance issue, an ongoing inheritance issue, that I was not ever given information that I had a rather large inheritance, whereby I would have never been homeless. I would have not lost custody of any of my children. Had I been given information about several inheritances that I had. The most recent that I'm aware of is both of my Nichols grandparents and my Henderson grandparents. And this was long before any kind of, because this is one of the issues which started the ongoing battle between, I don't want to call it a Hatfield and a McCoy, because I don't consider myself, I'm not that old. And the Hatfields and the McCoys were about something different. And I'm about how the Hatfields and the McCoys were about two families, Romeo and Juliet kind of thing, opposing cultures. And my battle with my Henderson family is about them taking control of my life and my children's lives, and using poverty as an avenue to do such, after they were part of forcing me into poverty and not giving me information about a rather large inheritance that both sides of my grandparents had left for me. But I was living here honestly and naively in Colorado at the time. And so I don't know what made them feel justified, and there was no actual justification except for they were looking for an evil power, which they were already pursuing, obviously, and I wasn't aware of that. And so any monies that are attained in those types of good and evil battles, that's a real thing. So I have to say, I have to believe that one, because of the way my life has gone and the sides that they have each taken um, throughout throughout what I can acknowledge as part of my real time awareness. Um, like since 2005, and actually before, but I'm talking about my real time awareness and the beginning of my real time awareness of my Henderson family's activities and betrayals of me, including using my identity in activities I uh, wouldn't knowingly be or conscious awareness be a part of. So the price of gold comes into play, and the monetary value of that particular piece of jewelry is not the important part of my desire, if you want to call it desire. I don't like that word. To have that piece of jewelry back. It was in the on the princess's head in the movie Neverending Story. And I believe it's the same piece of jewelry that was in my my great grandmother's jewelry collection, and then in my grandmother's jewelry collection, because it stayed, or it went directly to Charlotte after great grandmother Williams died. I don't know which, because I was just a child and I can't remember. I'm certain that my grandmother Betty Nichols had, in other words, it went to from my great grandmother's jewelry collection to my grandmother's, then to Charlotte's, but not my grandmother Betty hadn't passed away at that point. So when it came into Charlotte's possession, I don't know. But my belief is that my great grandmother Williams possibly wanted me to have that piece of jewelry and not the funerary jewelry that Charlotte gave me on my 21st birthday. So now there's two things that if I were going to go on I don't consider myself to be a scavenger or a treasure hunter or a gold digger. If I were going to go on a search for antiquity within my own rights of ownership and within my own Christian belief system, I would seek that piece of jewelry, and I would also seek the original writings of Frederick Douglass. I wrote within a home assignment, and I can't remember what year it was. I can't remember what grade I was in. I wrote a report, an assignment where everyone was given a certain person, a historical character to write a report on, and Frederick Douglass was assigned to me as my report. So I within the battles that I've been facing, and within that report, and what writing that report, it was unbiased. But writing that report may have brought battles into my life at that time, which I wasn't aware, where tables were being turned, my thoughts and my character was being twisted for the benefit of someone else. So to be able to analyze Frederick Douglass's original writings, and to be able to, I don't know if they're associated, because they're two different global history time periods. It's so interesting where the time warps and the eras of history, both eras of history within my own existence from 1964, and eras of history where I know I lived in other eras of global history and in other places on the globe. Where they all collect and collide, and so back to the price of gold, and I keep asking the question, because those battles come into play when you're trying to understand what the heck is going on in the world. And you see everybody's like running on a treadmill. And all these battles are going on, and yet everybody's on a treadmill. And everybody's fighting the same battles throughout history. Yet everybody's on a treadmill, not getting any further ahead, except for NASA, because everybody is just, oh my gosh. There's lots of movies being made about what? About the same battles throughout history. So back on the treadmill. And so you have to wonder if NASA is only on a treadmill, and it's actually the aliens who are have all the satellites and spaceships and rocket ships. So the price of gold, the only, I can't find any information that answers the question. And somebody will say, oh, well, all you got to do is plug it in. Well, I've plugged the question into my search engine several times, and I've yet to get a clear answer. What is the functional value of gold? The functional value of gold within the excuse me, space race. The functional value of gold within the energy race. Other metals I have an answer about, but I haven't found one about gold. I know that a lot of people like to wear gold jewelry. I found information that the Egyptians used to eat gold and ingest gold to make their skin glow. I don't know how much they ate, so I'm not telling anybody to go eat some gold. But I have yet to get an answer as to the functional value of gold within those, other than, the perceived monetary value. And I consider the fact that gold might be used as of course, a monetary exchange, but I consider in my own thought processes, because I can't get an answer, find an answer that I'm comfortable with when I ask those two questions, that the value of gold might be a distractionary, I don't know what the right word is here. It's simply a way to attain and control as much actual money as excuse me, a person possibly can. Like, to go and buy gold, I'm given I would be exchanging monetary for a precious metal, first of all, that I might or might not have any expertise in acknowledging or being able to assess if it's actual gold. And there's also the whole thing about, even if you have gold and go to exchange gold, hence the creation, I guess, of an actual monetary system. If I have a gold coin and I take it to the store, then somebody can say, oh, that's not real gold. We can't accept that. And I'm acknowledging right now, even in my own thought processes, that that can really happen with any. But I think that was the purpose of developing, like, paper money and coins and whatnot, to assign a certain value to. And this might be, third or fourth or fifth or middle school grade knowledge for some. But again, the economy and the monetary system, because I'm not a money-driven person and I never have been, it's not information that I collected and stored in my memory banks. But now I'm seeing it as a necessity to keep up with the monetary system, both within my personal economy and within my knowledge base of what's going on. So this is a new arena of existence for me, because I've never paid so much attention to money before. And then there's the whole when I just said money, then a person came into mind, because when we're assigned an identity by secret societies who have held prisoners and used people as a monetary exchange. Um, I have to I have to interject within my verbal presentation. My children are not your money, and and your children are not my money, and your people aren't my money, and my people aren't your money. So that whole slavery system, where certain populations of people have monopolized that that form of what I acknowledge that they've used as a monetary an assigned monetary value to the exchange of humans. I don't participate, and I bring to my forethoughts and my conscious awareness whenever I see that people being used uh, as and for monetary exchange. And I discovered recently, as in the past 8 years, discovered is the wrong word because I didn't come by the information within my own research, but it within conversations where the information was given to me without me asking, because it was not ever something that I had ever realized or thought about, or so it was disturbing information, and makes me want to shut down all the bail bonds licenses, which they should have never been licensed to exist in the first place. Um, and then comes the battle. Oh, well, you don't think there should be bail bonds, and well, what if we throw you in jail and you don't have any? Well, I was in jail in Maryland in 2014, and my bond was set at $10,000 for something that was minute. But these are the things that come at you on, or me, on a constant basis, that I have to constantly uh, battle along with the internet tags that, as I'm walking down the road, it's like I can feel, I can see, and I'm reminded of a commercial of someone walking down like Wall Street, and all the numbers flying they could see. And now I know what that phenomena is. They could see numbers and words flying at them. So all the commercials that I once saw, or movies, or whatever it is that, when you're thinking it, you're saying, gosh, you're giving it a little bit of thought, but then, here it is 10 years in the future in 2023. And I'm like, gosh, now I really know what that commercial was about. And I knew what it was advertising at the time, because that was very non-subliminally presented. But the phenomena of the letters and words and numbers coming at the person walking down the road is something that I experience as as everyone's constantly trying to tag me with their endeavors and or their charges or their guilt. Um, so back to the price of gold. I would like to know an answer to the question, what is the functional value of gold within the space race and within the energy race? Um, and I'm thinking about one of the Apollo ships when I visited Florida, and NASA within its little tourist thing in Florida, that there was a lot of gold on the what appeared to be gold, both in like material and in the like shiny properties, polished property of gold. But again, I don't know if it had an actual. I don't assume that if it was gold flake on the Apollo, I don't assume, because when I think of gold, I have no intrinsic, like with other things, I have like this intrinsic like information flow return. But with gold, all I get is this sort of flat, oh gosh, it's fun to wear kind of thing. So I don't know, it might have been decorative and or even on the Apollo spaceship. Um, so I'd like to know the answer to the question.